In this video, I'd like to talk about and do a tutorial about the SLR Magic Variable Neutral Density Filter. On B&H, you can get the neutral density filter for $139 US or 235 New Zealand dollars. So the neutral density filter is designed to basically create density in your images, so give you longer exposures, or when you're recording you can use longer exposures. The filter has a 17mm filter thread. At the front it is a 86mm thread. The filter also comes with a nice plastic lens cap, and as well as that, the casing that comes with it has a nice gasket to keep the filter nicely sealed, especially during wet or frozen conditions. I myself tend to use the ND filter on my Samyang 12mm f2 as well as my Olympus M-Zuiko Pro 12-40mm. The Samyang uses a 67mm filter thread, while the Olympus Pro lens uses the 62mm filter thread. The filter itself has a small handle to adjust the density of the filter. It also has some numbers going from 1 to 10, 1 being minimum density, 10 being maximum. For videographers, I think they'll find the small handle on the filter to be a very useful tool to help them adjust density during video. Some of you may be asking yourself, what's the purpose of a neutral density filter? So for video, when you want to have a nice shallow depth of field, as well as a shorter shutter speed for video, it's useful to increase the neutral density, so that way you can still get a nice shallow depth of field, as well as crisp, smooth video. You can drop down the aperture during video, especially if you're using manual glass. However, you do compromise on your depth of field, so you're actually going to widen the depth of field, making your backgrounds less blurred out. You can increase your shutter speed prior to making the video or even during video. However, by increasing the shutter speed, you'll notice a lot more of a buffer or like rolling shutter during the video, so your videos aren't going to look very smooth. And this is where the neutral density filter comes into play, as you're able to adjust the density from the filter. You can actually keep a small aperture number of, say, f2, as well as keeping a slow shutter speed of, say, 1/25th during video. Besides being useful for video, it's also great for long exposure still images, like you'll see with a lot of river and beach images. To create long exposure images, you would want to set the neutral density filter to its maximum setting. As for your camera, you want to set it into full manual. Once in full manual, you would want to adjust the aperture to f8 or even f22. It's also recommended to adjust the focus before you drop the aperture or the neutral density. Then you want to drop down the shutter speed from a 10-second exposure or a 30-second exposure. You may want to change the ISO, especially in lower lighting. Lastly, set the camera's self-timer to 2 seconds or 5 seconds. And just like that, you're able to get long exposures. I hope you found this video both educational and informative, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.